There's some highway noise out here. We'll see how it goes. Um, I'm staying in the Uceda neighborhood of Madrid, which kind of banks along the Madrid River, and there's a lot of walkways and stuff. Apparently, it's been improved over the years because I talked to some people here like, oh, yeah, I guess I heard that's nice now. So anyway, it's beautiful. It's incredible out here. So you can see it's kind of a small river, a low river. It reminds me of where my mom lived her final years in Redding, California. There's a river walk there, inconsequential river there. Here I'm coming up to the main part of the path, but it's fairly uncrowded right now, so it's a good time to do a few minutes here. I've only got a 15% battery left or something anyway. So what have I got to talk about? Haven't done much reading yet. I'm currently reading C.S. Foster's short book, Sink the Bismarck. I think it has another name too, but now it's in Sink the Bismarck, which is a nonfiction book about the sinking of the Bismarck, with a lot of fiction. Oh, there's some birds down there. My eyesight's not good, but there's definitely, they look like turkeys to me from here, but maybe you can see better than me. Oh no, obviously they're ducks. They're mallards. Mallards. Nature. A little out of breath because I only started doing it last week. Is something I saw online called Japanese walking, which is kind of a decrepit person's version of sprinting, of HIIT, hit sprints or hit relays. You walk a normal pace for 3 minutes, conversational tone pace, what I'm doing now. But this is my recovery from, and then you walk, and you do that for 3 minutes, then you walk as fast as you can for 3 minutes. You really pump it into out of your, not running. It's good for older people, for their joints and things like that. So I'm trying it out to get back into some sort of shape, so I look good in my casket eventually. So the Sink the Bismarck, I got that book. I got that suggestion from watching Steve Donahue's channel. I don't know if he ended up doing it every day, but for Shorty September, he did almost a book every day. And between Donahue's channel and Mark's channel, Book Time with Elvis, I found about 6 or 7 books I really want to read. I think mostly nonfiction. I may have mentioned this before, but I think that it might be a way for me to pick up more on nonfiction. A funny thing I noticed, I've kept a list of my books all the way back to 2011. I thought maybe I'd go over some of those lists at some point if I have nothing else to talk about. But I was surprised that in 2011, 12, 13, when I started making the list of books, I was reading a ton of nonfiction. I wasn't reading like the classics of nonfiction, the big tomes or sales of the important books that people focus in on BookTube. It was a lot of dumb stuff, but a lot of current stuff about current politics or what was going on at the time. But and some books about the CIA, and I read some books about the Soviet Union, which I'm interested in. I've still got a list of those books I want to get back to at some time. Those big, thick, fat tomes of history books about figures, Cold War figures, and American presidents, that kind of thing that I want to do, that'll make me feel like I've really accomplished something with my reading life. There's a little split up here where this trail turns into a really nice wooden path. I want to talk at least till I get to there. And, I want to read like the President Johnson biography, the multi-volume biography. I really want to read that. There's a couple big Stalin autobiography or biographies I want to read, and Lenin, different figures of that period, and different histories of different CIA programs. I've read a bunch of that, but I'd like to read more stuff on MK Ultra and things like I think these guys got some nature going. They found some nature of some kind. And things about different programs, like, the programs, the propaganda programs that the CIA had done in the 60s, 50s, 60s to promote, modern art. All these absurd things seem absurd now. And there's many books about them to promote modern art, or promote particular books. There was a big program to promote the novel Dr. Zhivago around the world, because it was seen as a good propaganda ploy against the Soviet Union, because it was about the harsh treatment of that happened during one of the revolutions. I don't know what I'm talking about. Just rambling here, but here we are on the main brown-colored path, wood path, and you can see what my life is like here. Roads, trees, birds, wildlife, cityscape, everything that we have. And it's real quiet and peaceful out here. It's the middle of the day. It's probably around 3 o'clock by now, which is probably not it's a perfect time to exercise and get out and about this time of year. It's October 14th, and I'm just in a t-shirt. And probably pretty damn hot most of the year, though. So I notice they get up the people that are out here, they're out here pretty early. And then in the evening, there's a lot of people out walking too. It's a very evening-focused culture. People spend, people famously eat very late here. About 10 p.m. is like peak eating time for dinner. And they get up fairly late. It's not uncommon for businesses here to open up at 9:30 or 10 in the morning, which is probably a little later than people would like, because there's often people lining up trying to get into the mobile phone store or whatever, or the banks, or of course the banks. It's just a different way. There's certain things, it seems like everybody in the world does it one way, and the United States does it one other way. For example, like temperature, Fahrenheit versus Celsius, which I have to memorize, because when I talk to people and they're talking about some crazy temperature and they're like, oh, it's almost got up to 40 today. I'm like, oh yeah, let me look that up. I think it's 100, but it could be 120. I don't know. So there's that. The whole world uses WhatsApp except the United States, which uses their Apple chat, or their phone chats, but everybody else uses WhatsApp. That's kind of weird that America hasn't got in on that. They have these weird shopping baskets. Instead of these, they have carts that you can push, of course, but then they have these shopping baskets that aren't the kind you carry, but they look like the carrying baskets, but you drag them along the floor at the same time, at their floor level, so you always got to bend down and pick them up. Or it's just that I don't like. I don't like those shopping baskets that everybody has over here. What else? I had to do a DHL the other day, and it was like I had to go into this business that ships DHL. It was a travel agency, and you sit at a desk and give the information out. It's like setting up a bank account or something. Just very odd. Just little minor things like that seem normal outside the United States, but it's not the way I've noticed it at home. Just a different way around, but it is kind of curious. The United States is so different on certain things, and there was one other big one that I forgot. So looks like we're coming up into people here. Take a look at the river here. Here's some guys working on the day. They have here, and they have in this country they have kind of a split business opening system, where you've got a lot of the small businesses and a lot of the older businesses, and a lot of restaurants are still doing the siesta thing, where they're open from 9 to 1, then they're closed till 5, and then they're open till 8. But then all the modern things and like the fast food chains and big supermarkets and stuff are open like all day hours. So it's kind of a bifurcated system that way. Can you see that bird? Is that heron? Is that a heron? Some kind of little bird. It's not very big, I don't think. Who else we got over here? Any other birds? There's more wildlife on this river than there is most places I've seen here in Europe. But it's very cool. Should I do some more sprints? I don't know. Probably not. I tend to overshoot on early days, and then I get tired, and then I get sick of doing it. So that'll be it. So I'm reading one book. Got to finish it tonight. It's got to go back to the library at C.S. Foster's. I think the BISMARCK is pretty good so far. It's all, it brings up one of my issues with nonfiction, though. All the dialogue in it it's written like a novel. C.S. Foster, of course, wrote the Horatio Hornblower novels and African Queen, and he tells this in a novelistic way, meaning there's lots of dialogue, and at least he starts out the piece. It's a fairly short book, maybe 100 pages, maybe less, by saying, all this dialogue's made up, but you can almost guarantee something like these conversations occurred, and like, oh, okay. But that's the thing I always have with nonfiction. It's like, is it really nonfiction? Is there really such a thing as nonfiction? There's many, many cases of books that get exposed as being totally fictionalized, like A Million Little Pieces, or this one about this couple that recent one out that's about this couple that lose their house and go on a walking tour to cure the husband's brain tumor or something. And then it turns out that, they lost the house because their wife embezzled $200,000 from her businesses, and she didn't put that in the memoir. But that's always part of it, I guess. All right, I think I'll wrap up now. Thanks for taking this little walk with me, and we'll talk again soon.